What is happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode on the KastKing channel, and today we are talking about the Valiant Eagle, but we can't talk just about this reel without bringing back a fan favorite, the old Sharky 3. I'm going to go through all the specifications and features of the Valiant Eagle, but as I'm doing so, I'm also going to compare and contrast with the Sharky 3, because I know a lot of people have been wondering, how does this compare to this reel? It's been such a good workhorse of a reel. Well, without further ado, starting with the size, the Valiant Eagle comes in sizes 1,000 up to 4,000, whereas the Sharky comes in 2,000 to 5,000. Now this isn't 100% apples to apples. I'm comparing the 2,000 size Valiant Eagle to my 3,000 size Sharky 3, and you can see there is a bit of a size difference. Now when you pick it up, you can tell there is a bit of a weight difference. The Valiant Eagle, this 2,000 size, comes in at 8.4 ounces. The Sharky 3, I have the 3,000 size, this comes in at 9.4 ounces, but the 2,000 size of this reel comes in at 9.2 ounces. When it comes to the retrieve, the Valiant Eagle has a 6.2 to 1 retrieve speed. The old Sharky 3 is just a little bit slower at 5.2 to 1 retrieve. That faster retrieve ratio does allow you to bring in more line. This will bring in 33.2 inches per turn on the 2,000 size, whereas the Sharky 3, my 3,000 size, will bring in 29.4 inches per turn. If it were the 2,000 size, that would bring in 27.5 inches per turn. When it comes to line capacity, you can see there is a little bit of difference between the 2,000 and 3,000 size. 8-pound line here, it's going to hold 150 yards on the Valiant Eagle, whereas on the Sharky 3, this 3,000 size 8-pound will bring in 218 yards. If you prefer millimeters per meter, the 2,000 size holds 0.25 millimeter line, 130 meters of that. If I were to have a 2,000 size Sharky 3, it's pretty darn close. A 0.26 millimeter line will hold 130 meters. Now the drag rating is a little bit different on the Valiant Eagle. This is rated up to 17.6 pounds of drag. If you remember, the Sharky 3 had a pretty stout drag. This 3,000 size was rated at 33-pound drag. That's a lot. I'm using these for finesse fishing, so in my opinion the 17.6 is more than enough still than I'll need. I keep my drag down anyway. I'm playing that fish usually on like an 8-pound leader, so for me I'm keeping that drag down a little bit anyway. Now both of these reels do have braid ready spools. Now I apologize, I already put line on here, but if you were to look under this line on the spool, it's got a pretty aggressive texture on here. It's an aluminum spool, so that aggressive texture allows that braid to bite in there and not spin. A little bit different than the Sharky 3. The Sharky 3 has kind of a rubber ring that goes around the spool. Either one is fine with me. I did tie it on here and test it, and it works pretty slick. When it comes to body construction on these two reels, they do differ just a little bit. The Sharky 3 has a graphite frame and rotor. Now with the reduced weight reduction in the Valiant Eagle, it's because of the carbon infusion in here. So they've actually used long carbon fibers in the frame. That's going to add strength and durability to it. In the actual rotor, they've used short carbon fibers. That's to help reduce that weight even farther, making this a little bit lighter option than the Sharky 3. Along with that, both of these reels both do have 10+1 bearings inside of them, keeping them both nice and smooth. Now when you flip these reels over, both of them do have the anti-reverse switch. So some of you that may be new to spinning reels, there's a small switch or a little lever down here. And what that does when it's engaged, it engages that anti-reverse. So if I try to push this backwards, it's not going to reel backwards. It only reels forward to bring in line. Now if you disengage this and flip it over, I can reel forward and reel backwards. So I know a lot of people will use this to play the fish. So if you want to fight your fish that way, engage it, and again it locks that so it can't go backwards. The Sharky 3 also has this as well. It's kind of hidden up in right here on the side, but again same thing, forward. When I stop it, won't go. Flip that over and I can reel backwards and forward with it. Now if you're also new to spinning reels, you may have a question on, well, why do some spinning reels connect a little bit differently? Well, on the Valiant Eagle this is a through drive, so you notice that the handle actually goes through the gear and locks into place with this screw. So this screw actually screws into the handle like so, and locks down good and tight so you can use your reel. Now, the Sharky 3, if you have one of those, you might say, yeah, it looks a little bit different. Yes, this does have a handle that's threaded, and it actually screws into the reel, screws into the drive. It's called a direct drive, just a little bit different. So two different ways of putting that handle on there. And also, just in case you are new to spinning reels, note that spinning reels are ambidextrous, so you don't have to worry about buying a left or right-handed version. After you remove the handle, you can take it off the left-hand side here and put it on the right hand. So it doesn't matter which retrieve you use, your right-handed crank or left-handed crank, spinning reels will accommodate both ways. But I don't think anybody's going to complain about the carbon-infused frame and rotor on this. Looked pretty nifty. Speaking of carbon fiber, both of these reels do have a carbon fiber drag, and I wanted to show you something new on this reel. Because using the drag to play a fish on a reel like this is so important, they've actually put a rubber seal on the top there, if you can see that. Now that's something that the Sharky 3 does not have. They've made it so the drag on the Valiant Eagle is completely sealed in here. So that drag has a rubber ring in there, everything's sealed, you're not gonna get any water in there in case you dunk it quick. Gonna keep that drag nice and dry for you. Very important if you're playing and fighting a fish on finesse line. I did put some fresh Cast Pro braid on this because I wanted to test out a couple things. Number one was the bail. How does it actually cast? And the bail, as you can see, comes over. It's a good sturdy bail wire. I don't like the real thin, tiny bail wires. It's a good sturdy bail wire, and as you can see, it flips over nice and easy. And I want to do it slow. Has a good positive click. That's important for me. I like a bail that comes over smooth when you set it here, and if you're a person that sets it with the reel, it works fine that way. I personally don't ever use my handle to set the bail on my spinning reels. I cast it out and always use my hand to push it over. Engages and disengages very easily. I like that with a good sturdy bail wire. Now the other reason I put line in here is I wanted to test the castability because this reel has something a little bit different. If you look at the top of the spool here, you can see it's not just a regular spool. There's a groove here with a little lip. All the line fits underneath this lip. And this lip actually guides the line to the edge of the spool. Now if you compare that to the Sharky 3, you can see there's no lip under here. So when that line is coming off the reel, it has a tendency to kind of bang on the bottom of the spool here. Even though it does have a nice angle here, that line hits the bottom of the spool before it comes off. And this is a new line management system they've put on the spool. This is a patent pending design they're using, and I think it's pretty neat. I tell you what, it does feel pretty smooth. I notice a lot of times on spinning reels, and not just the Sharky 3, really any spinning reel, if the line is not extremely full, you can kind of feel the line hitting up against the spool. I didn't really notice it with this, and again, it is full, but it did feel pretty smooth casting. Now the Valiant Eagle also has something new that the Sharky 3 does not have, and that's the sliding stabilizer rod. It's a rod they put inside to help stabilize the pinion and main gear of the reel. It's an interesting feature they put in here to help extend the life of the reel, make it a little bit easier on that main gear and pinion gear inside there when you're doing some heavy cranking. Now when it comes to the handles, the old Sharky 3, you're all familiar with the EVA knobs. I like these. To me, those are pretty darn comfortable. The Valiant Eagle has a little bit different. It's got kind of a rubberized T-shaped handle. To me, it's just a turn of opinion which one you like better. So I hope that helps you all out with any sort of questions you've had with the Valiant Eagle, its features, what it's like, how it compares to the old Sharky 3. Of course, if you have any additional questions, please leave those below. KastKing would be happy to answer those for you. If you're not already following the KastKing channel, please consider doing so for more reviews or comparisons just like this one. And until next time.